low percentage of likelihood of dying in California, that I believe came from a doctor whose video was deplatformed from YouTube. Now, stuff like that is happening, and I don't know how many people are paying attention. I'm pretty sure that guy's name is Dr. Erickson. Is that right, Eric? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but there's a doctor. I've been seeing a lot about this online last night and earlier this morning, where this doctor, and I had friends in New York forwarding me his video. It has been viewed millions of times, and under the YouTube guidelines of misinformation, they took it off. They took it down. And if you go to it now, you see it's been removed because of YouTube's community standards guidelines thing. See, these tech companies, this Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all of them are making decisions that, frankly, is antithetical to everything we believe as Americans. And this guy's a doctor, right? Medical doctor. And my goodness, YouTube decides to take a video that millions of people are viewing, a guy who's giving his expert opinion that it's wrong to shut down the state of California when you have such a small risk of dying from COVID-19, and they just remove it. I mean, and we are living in this digital age. I am constantly trying to up our game and make sure, for example, that if you want to watch the show on YouTube, you can. And I invite you to subscribe to the Mike Gallagher Show YouTube channel. And believe me, it's a fun way to kind of, especially now if you're home and you're looking for stuff to watch, you see the video clips that we play here on your favorite radio station. So it's kind of a multimedia approach. Of course, I'm leery about all of it. I admit it. I'm leery about. I'm very hesitant about Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all of that. And I just feel strongly that when these tech companies are making decisions of people like Dr. Dan Erickson, he's described as a public health expert. And he has a belief that it's time to start opening. And it's almost like there's a panic from the mainstream media and the establishment machine, and there is, believe me, a substantive machine. There's a panic. Don't you dare go down that path. We'll stop your message. And I'm serious. It's like we're getting into a real totalitarian state here that ought to frighten every freedom-loving American. Right and left. This isn't right or left. My goodness, the left loves all this digital YouTube crap. You love it, right? You love social media and Twitter and all that. You've banned the video? YouTube, really? I don't understand that. And there ought to be reporters, instead of badgering Trump in the Rose Garden, how about finding out the answer to that story? I mean, isn't it funny isn't it sad, isn't it tragic how the rules are different for different politicians? Yesterday, there was a reporter for New York Magazine in the Rose Garden that was trying to bait the president. This is a masterful exchange. I mean, honest to goodness, as soon as she asked the question and I saw her say this stupid, brutal, absurd comparison, you've lost more Americans in 6 weeks than we lost in all of Vietnam. Should a president who lost more Americans be reelected? She actually asked that in the Rose Garden. Let me play this for you. Listen to this exchange from this reporter, Olivia Nuzzi.
If an American president loses more Americans over the course of 6 weeks than died in the entirety of the Vietnam War, does he deserve to be reelected?
So, yeah, we've lost a lot of people, but if you look at what original projections were, 2.2 million, we're probably heading to 60,000, 70,000. It's far too many. One person is too many for this. And I think we've made a lot of really good decisions. The big decision was closing the border or doing the ban, people coming in from China, obviously other than American citizens, which had to come in. can't say you can't come in, you can't come back to your country.
Now, how about that answer? You heard him take a little bit of a breath, right? He took kind of a deep breath, did not react angrily, didn't lash out, didn't go after her, gave a straightforward answer. Of course, she was disappointed because she was baiting him. That's what they've all been doing. Every single day, there are reporters, typically from CNN or the Washington Post, New York Magazine, baiting him and trying to provoke him. Now, here's a question that I don't think anybody's asked of Governor Cuomo as an example. I was reading today in Axios, the pandemic has now killed more than 22,000 New Yorkers. New York State has literally, according to Axios, the worst death toll in the world, not the country, in the world. New York has a vastly worse death count than dense global cities like Tokyo and Seoul, South Korea. And yet, even Axios points out, Cuomo has been widely praised, and he's become a fan favorite for Democrats around the country. How is that? How, do you think Olivia Nuzzo or anybody or Nuzzi will ask Governor Cuomo, you've got the worst death toll in the world. Should you keep your job? And of course, we all know the answer to that. Nobody will ask him that question. Maybe a conservative, journalist will, but certainly not the mainstream media, the media that influences millions and millions of Americans. You think that's a reasonable thing to ask Andrew? And incidentally, hear me, I'm not blaming Andrew Cuomo. Why would I blame the governor of a state in America as part of a planet that has suffered from a pandemic? I've said over and over, no one saw this coming. Cuomo himself, in asked about what he would have done differently, he said, I would have tried to sound the bugle earlier or something. I wish I would have. Well, everybody wishes they saw this coming earlier. So you're going to ask the president of the United States, do you deserve to be reelected? Because you've lost more America. You've lost more Americans, i.e., you killed them. You got blood on your hands. And that's what they're saying. That's what these crazed Trump haters are saying. Never Trumpers too. This is like, in a way, a weird repeat of 2016. This is 2016 all over again. Polls saying Biden clobbers Trump. Trump doesn't stand a chance. He's self-destructed. And if you heard that exchange yesterday, what I just played for you, you got a sense, you have a belief, and it could be dead wrong, but in your gut, you just feel he's not only going to win re-election, he's going to win re-election easily. And her question is precisely why so many Americans really despise the way the media has handled all of this. Welcome in to a Tuesday edition of the Mike Gallagher Show in the ReliefFactor.com studios, back in my kitchen, working from home as many millions of Americans are home, sort of a self-imposed quarantine, and yet a lot of voices that are saying it's time to reopen. We got to do it carefully, responsibly. In a few minutes, President Trump is going to hold a press conference with Florida Governor DeSantis from the White House. He's meeting with they're meeting together in the White House. We'll take you to that press conference because, hey, there are big decisions that Florida, Georgia, many states around the country are making.